What's up, plant lovers? I'm Devin Wallien. I'm here in Zone 6B in Westchester, Pennsylvania. I just got a bunch of new shrubs to plant up in my forested area. So I thought this would be a great opportunity to make an easy video showing you guys how to correctly plant your shrubs. This is for all of our beginner gardeners that don't have much experience planting in their gardens, or if you just want a little bit of a refresher course. Now, I'm here in the middle of October. If you're looking for a video, how late can you actually plant in your region, in your zone? Check the video link up there and you'll find a video that is all about that topic. But so once you're ready to get planting, the first thing I like to do with all of my shrubs, or pretty much any plants for that matter, is to give them a nice drink while they're still in their container. Now, when we're watering our plants, we want to ensure that the entire root ball is nice and saturated. That's going to help to minimize any sort of transplant shock. As you can see, I'm using the shower nozzle, which is nice and gentle, and it's going to allow my plants to get rehydrated, ready for their new homes. And the next thing to do is to, of course, dig a hole that's going to be deep enough to fit the entirety of the root ball, as well as slightly wider than the width of the root ball. We want to dig a hole that's a little bit wider because that's going to just loosen up the soil around the root ball once we get it planted back in, and that's going to be really great for all of our lateral roots to more easily assimilate into the soil. If we just kind of dig just the perfect size hole and just pop it in there, all that soil around the edges is going to be compacted, making it more challenging for our plants to actually allow its roots to grow into that surrounding soil. All right, that looks pretty good. And the next step is to pop it out of the container. You may have to do one of these guys to massage those roots so you can more easily get it out. There you go. And then we want to break these roots up a little bit. Spread them out. If they're really compacted, you can even just kind of cut all the way through them and kind of open them up like a book and then plant it like that. This guy is not super root bound, so this is a little bit easier for me to plant. And then the most crucial aspect is that we plant it at the correct depth. We do not want to plant them too deep. So sometimes you may need to actually brush off some of this topmost soil to really have a good look at where that root flare is. This is pertinent to our shrubs and our trees, and we really want to have this set just above that soil line, not too deep. If you plant it too deep, it's really going to struggle. So that's going to be a little bit too deep right there. So I'm going to fill it back a little bit. Still looks a little deep. And as you can see, I'm backfilling it with the pre-existing native soil. That's been one of the most important pieces of research to come out in the last decade or so, is that when we are planting new shrubs, trees, perennials into our soils, we want to always backfill with that existing native soil. If we use potting mix or something like that, it's going to really coddle the roots of the plants that we're planting, and many times they will actually not venture outside of that really nice, cozy potting mix, and they'll never grow into that native soil. So we want to start it by backfilling in with that native soil. All right, so that looks pretty good. And you may need to break this soil up a little bit. All right, so now it's looking pretty good. We're gonna give it another drink of water. Just to ensure that all of the soil stays at that correct level, that it doesn't sink down afterwards. That's very important. And at this point, we're not going to do any sort of fertilizing. We're really going to try to refrain from doing any sort of pruning, anything like that. Especially, you know, fall is definitely the best time to plant trees and shrubs because it really gives them a chance to grow slowly over the winter season. And you really won't have to be on top of watering it all the time, because precipitation should be a little bit more elevated in that fall season. Now from here, I like to just use some normal cardboard. This is not any of that like shiny kind of cardboard. I always do my best to take off any sort of tape, things like that. And we're going to just put it around the base. And this is going to keep any sort of weedy plants from growing at the base of our plants, which we want to really ensure that no weeds are at the base, because they will just take all of the available water from this plant as it's getting established, and we don't want that to happen. We want him to be nice and well situated. So just a small little section like this is great. And the last step is to add a layer of mulch that's about 3-4 inches tall. And what we're gonna do, I'm using wood chips. I get them free. You can use a service online to get free wood chips. I'll leave a link for you to check that out. You can also use bark mulches, aged bark mulches. Leaf mold's great. Some people will use pine needles, things like that. So whatever you typically use should be fine. And we want to just leave a little bit of gap between that stem and the mulch. We don't really like to touch the stems with the mulch. That's just going to help to prevent any sort of diseases, things like that. And now we have our plant planted. Oh, I didn't mention, this is a Cornus amomum, a silky dogwood, a wonderful native plant to my region. So with that, now you know how to easily and correctly plant your shrubs. If you're starting a shrub border, adding it to your garden, wherever you might be growing some new shrubs, now you can do so knowing exactly how to do it. Anyways, thanks for joining me here on Plant Vibrations. Make sure you subscribe to our channel, like this video, lots of new videos all the time. And if you are ever interested in some one-on-one help, by becoming a member of my YouTube channel, that gives you access to a chat room. This is a members-only chat room. You can ask me questions about whatever sort of plant needs that you might be having in that moment. And I will respond with video messages, audio messages, photos, texts, whatever is pertinent to your question. And it's super cheap, so go check that out. Anyways, thanks for joining me here on Plant Vibrations. I'll catch you soon. If you have some blank areas in your garden space that you're looking to fill with unique plants, check out my website, plant-vibrations.com. You'll find tons of different perennials and annuals, flowering shrubs, edible plants, indoor plants that my family grows, and we will ship them out across the country, and they'll arrive at your doorstep. And every single plant that you purchase from my website will allow me to continue to create content that's going to help our plant community grow and flourish.